Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have Nelson Bay. Nelson Bay is the Director of Common Shipping Malaysia Sdn Bhd, and he's been in the industry for the last 23 years, since 1997. Now, Common Shipping Sdn Bhd is actually into shipping and logistics. Now, Nelson is also the Deputy President for the Persatuan Usahawan Maju Malaysia, or PUMM. Thanks so much for joining us today, Nelson. How are you?
Oh, okay, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you to see you again, Ernest.
Well done. Nelson, just quickly, how's the MCO affecting you as a person and also as a family and also as a business?
Yeah, okay. I talking about individual. I spend my time and then I work from home, and then my industry is shipping and logistics. But then before the thing get worse, and then I feel like for myself, my industry and then maybe could be down, because like maybe our country can be locked down, because like the country locked down, Malaysia locked down. I don't really understand, because in my life I never heard about like Malaysia lockdown before. So for myself, and then I never get any preparation at all, and then I just like keep myself in a positive spirit, and then to fight for this COVID-19 situation. I think I also like call a lot of friends, and then my industry encourage people, and then my friends also encourage myself, especially we are in SME, and then what I can to do. But the things like for the past 1-2 weeks, and then I received a lot of calls, and then I received a lot of calls not only from Malaysia, and then also from China and from overseas, and then they require the logistics service, and then from there then I start to busy for the last 2 weeks. Like and then also for logistic industry, a lot of things also depends on the government, because the government policy can be make our logistic can be smoothly, or anything can be happen in a halfway like that. Like for example, for the past 2 weeks, the government realized that the face mask is essential goods, and then is very important for Malaysia, because we are facing a shortage. And then in like e-commerce and individual, they're selling all the face masks, and then the standard maybe not to surgical or the medical, and then a lot of people, so then they don't really understand the face mask, the usage of the face mask, and then also the particular on that. And then for after that, then the government immediately make the announcement for, I think 2 weeks ago, on Saturday. So then they put down all the import duty, become zero, and then another one, the SST also becomes zero. The actual one, the tax, how much? It's a 20 plus 10. It's a 20 plus 10. It's not easy for individual and a company to bring in. Yes, you can get a cheaper price, from China, but you're coming in. If then there's a two-way, is by sea freight and air freight. But unfortunately, and a lot of people want to save money, and then they bring in by the sea freight. But the sea freight, and then we know that recently the congestion of the port, West Port, North Port, and then Penang Port and Persatuan Port, all get congested, so the cargo cannot come in. And then the order is not like in containerized, it's like console. Once you console, and then with other non-essential goods and also products, it's not easy for you to clear. And then also because of the congestion, so the face mask a lot also stuck in the port. So there's the best way is the airport and the air freight.
Sorry, Nelson, I need to ask you, what does console mean for those who don't understand?
Oh, the console is like one container, and then the console, all the different real products in one container. It's called like LCL.
Oh, it's like consolidated. Everything is inside one container.
Yeah. Yes.
I see. Okay.
Because because the face mask is a sudden demand. It's not a regular import. Because Malaysia also, then we have our own manufacturer. So I think for the past 2 weeks, a lot of people talking about the face mask, and then it's really shortage. And then when we bring in the time, and then a lot of Malaysian also importer also, they do understand, because the government only allowed surgical and also the medical face mask to come in with the zero tax and zero duty. So a lot of people misunderstanding like that.
See.
So and then for our industry, beside this one, and then all the medical equipment, and then all this pharmaceutical import in, and then so far so good, like that. This is what I was busy for the past 2 weeks.
Did
And
you
then
have?
one more thing.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
One more thing happened just like 2 days ago, and then the government MOT, Ministry of Transport, just announced that because of the non-essential goods stuck in the port almost 100%, so they are allowed like yesterday, today, and tomorrow 3 days to clear up. Those are non-essential products you can bring from the port. You can put in your factory, or maybe you can put in the warehouse. But a lot of factory also closed. The manpower, suddenly you ask them to come and open the gate and then to look, all this. And then because this is quite last minute things like that. But I think still a good move. At least like the government allowed the cargo and then the container to move up from the port. At least I get some space, for this our port. So maybe the essential goods come in and then we have a space and then we can clear the cargo, and then our Malaysia for the supply chain wouldn't be breakdown. So for us, we cannot see the long term, medium term also we cannot see. We just like go maybe day by day or week by week, and then according to the order from the government. So this is our industry.
You just actually answered my question, because when you said that the goods could be released from the port, and also when all of a sudden it becomes available, who's going to work? If everybody has to stay at home and cannot move, how do they come to work? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be very difficult. And if you have perishable products, how are you going to store it? It's going to be very challenging. I can only imagine the challenges that you and your colleagues are going through right now. And also for the companies that are importing and depend on you to transport it to them, they also are stuck.
Yes.
So do you foresee, Nelson, moving forward, that there could be even supply challenges, because some companies that are depending on these materials for them to create the finished product are now unable to start work, unable to take stock, and therefore there'll be a shortage moving forward. So once the stocks are all consumed, there just won't be enough stocks in Malaysia. Do you see that happening?
So far, I think for the short term, it won't be happening now. And then because I think everyone also listen to the government, stay at home, and then all the commercial activity, already slow down. So once the slow down, and then the demand for the, for certain products then is not so high. And then and then also never create, people and then rush, to buy food and anything. I think still so far our Malaysian people, the discipline still okay. They just follow, and then everything slow down, and then actually this helps everyone like that. And then those like factories still opening, and then they must get approval from MITI, and then once they approve, and then the factory have to go with this a rubber glove factory, and then also medical factory, medical supply equipment, and all the factory have to goes on. And then, but I believe they have a security, and then they also have a prevention, on that, and then they have follow SOP, so the MITI approve that. So some of the cargo is the raw material from the from the port, or maybe from the airport, and then immediately, and then we do delivery to them. So then for them after produce, and then you push to the market, and then I think so far the market is still okay. But see looking at the cases every day keep on increasing, and then also I think the demand of the equipment also maybe not enough. So it's so we also look at the Menteri Kesihatan, and then also the announcement, or maybe they want to buy more medical equipment or pharmaceutical, anything from overseas. So then the only way, the faster way is come from the flight, this air freight. So this is the way.
So are you saying that for most transportation companies right now is a business boom for you guys? There's more demand than supply?
Yes, actually, yes.
Wow.
It depends on the scope. Yeah, it depends on the scope. Some of the industry player, they are holding agent. You do the custom clearance, but the custom clearance, when they come in and then they do custom clearance. But if they say most of the product they handle, there is a non-essential goods. Maybe it will be stuck there. The cargo have to you have to wait. You have to wait for the green light to move out like that. People like us, we are more flexible. Then because we are in industry, and then we are international freight forwarder, we get a lot of information from China, from Hong Kong, from Singapore, from everywhere. They are thinking, hey, how do we make the cargo move, maybe from China to Malaysia, or maybe from Malaysia, and then how to do distribution, especially face masks, and also those medical things like that. For myself, and then I think 2 days ago we delivered 36 points in KL. So we help customer to deliver the face mask to clinic just in Klang Valley. And then I think by early next week, and then we have, like about 50 or 60 cartons, and then we need to send to Sabah, do door delivery. And then also Brunei, they also asking how to do it. I say, very sorry, because our face mask cannot be exported, cannot be exported. So then they are thinking the way, ask me to help, and then I get the supplier from that, maybe from China, and then they will export direct to Brunei to solve the problem like that. So it's like getting information here and there. And then, I also have a customer, they have a restaurant in Penang, and then, the restaurant still open, but to take away service only. But those ways, like the raw materials, and then, the packaging, material, and then, and many, the ingredients, all this. So also then we also help them, like also some of the product, we, those people, they want to go Penang, one shot, and then with one truck, and then we do that. Then along the way, we must apply, like travel pass, and then because a lot of roadblock in highway, and then so far so good. I think the police and then also the government and then quite supportive. They allow us to go because all this essential. We cannot stop, the cargo. If not, then Malaysia people and then the market will face the shortage of the food. So this is like what I job, and then this is industry, and then I can say that the business is booming. By the other hand, like that.
Can I just ask, with regard to the members, the other members of the Persatuan Usahawan, how are they doing? How are they faring? Would you be able to share with me?
Yes. Our member, I think about more than 90 or 95%, they are SME. Then I think most of them, like they are suffering because it's the normal SME, and then the government force and the government as enforcement. As an employer, we have to pay full salary to them. And then, but they cannot open shop to do business. They cannot open the office, and then there's totally no income. And then also, then at this point of time, then we also like the businessmen, and then we cannot collect the debts from other people yet because everyone understands each other. Luckily, and then the government also they come up with a policy, and then we can delay, the repayment and the installment. And then the loan payment, and then at least that is the things like that. But I think most of us SME, our members, they are facing the salary, because like maybe rental, some you can waive, you can talk later, but the salary and then you cannot stop like that. So this is the main concern about SME.
But for SMEs, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then also we also don't know for how long, maybe 2 months, 3 months, like. For the cycle of the economy, if they say want to go it in the right way or in a good order, maybe it takes more than 6 months to recover, and then from there, and then only those business can go into the right track. Yeah.
So I hope that your member partners are capable to withstand this challenge, or at least have access to credit to just tide over this period. I also hope that the situation is a V curve, not a U curve. Because if it's a U curve, it's going to be quite long to actually get back on track. And access to capital, I think the Prime Minister actually did mention some stimulus package as well to try and help. And that I think is in reference to what you were saying. But in terms of the SMEs per se, how are you guys going to manage your cash flow moving forward? I'm just very interested in finding out.
I think for SME, those like our cash flow, and then I think incoming for our SME, and then really no business, and then there's no income. Those, you have the balance in bank. You have to be very careful, like to spend, for that. If let's say, we as a good employer, we must think, the firstly is like our employee first, because the employee, and then they don't work, on because of the enforcement, and then they cannot work for you. But we have to think. If they say we really have, the problem or difficulty, we can call our employee, and then talk to them, and then negotiate with them, or maybe pay 50% by early of the month, or maybe mid of the month and pay another one or something like that. And then but we have to follow the government, it's a full salary, we have to pay to them no matter how. Then it depends on the balance of the it's a balance, because there's really no business for these 2 weeks. After that we don't know yet, then we everyone also keep on surviving, and then employer SME, we face this kind of pressure.
Can you share with me, in terms of what's happening right now, is there any lessons that you guys have learned, or what can you learn from this situation to improve the resiliency of SMEs moving forward?
Yes. Because for SME and then a lot of this Zoom meeting, and then also the Facebook Live, it created a lot. And then some of them, and then they come out and then they share, for individual, and then maybe for industry, maybe positive, positive motivation, quote, to people, and then then all get together. But we stay at home, but all get together through this social media. So at least the things still move on. We still have friends, to encourage each other. And then we also can talk about business, and then or maybe the new policy, and then there's a discussion. I think from day to night, everyone can benefit from them. I think at least we don't waste time at home, waiting to die. At least we have somebody to share, and then we receive, or maybe you have something you share, and then people will receive. I think this is a good practice, to see. So that's why every day then I see live, maybe Zoom meeting with friends and from overseas friends, to encourage each other. At least the social, and then it wouldn't be disconnected, because everyone stayed at home. So this is what I see.
Excellent. So the last question I wanted to ask you is that, in terms of when the situation improves, how do you see your business in terms of logistics and transportation? How do you see your business transforming once this whole thing passes? That means there's no more MCO, there's no more COVID. Do you see any changes that you need to do for your own business moving forward?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. I think before that, a lot of people also they are thinking we are doing the freight forwarding service, and then we just the middleman, the people who provide the air freight and sea freight. I think nowadays, people call me. It's more than that. People not only want solution, they also want more information. What happened in China? What happened in Singapore? What happened in Brunei? What they are doing, and then what happened to face masks? All the policy, everything. So, what I feel I'm no longer to provide the service and solution, but I provide the social responsibility. Those you call me, I treat you as a good friend, and then I share with you what happened in China, what happened, what you can do it, the logistic, then what I also provide them the costing, whether is it worth, to bring in, then it's worth, and then you make the payment, you bring in, and then I help you to bring in, and people really trust me, because once I handle, and then it's a trust, and then it's a responsibility. So I feel I'm doing part of a social responsibility, not like donation, not like talking about money, but people want help, and then at this point of time, and then because I come up, and then I receive a lot of calls, every day, and a lot of inquiry, and then I also received a call from Shanghai yesterday. What happened in Shanghai and in China? Which actually they also limit the flight schedule. They also closing down, this flight connection to Europe and to other places like that. So they are thinking how to bring the medical product from China. Maybe 1 week supposed to be every day they have a flight to Malaysia, to KLIA, but now they cut to 1 week, one time only. Wow. So the air freight will increase, and then but how they they cannot export a lot from China, so maybe they will bring sea freight and then to come to Malaysia KLIA as a hub, and then I helping them to dispute from Malaysia and then to other corner of the world. So that is is a very different business anymore. So and then this is maybe after this crisis, and then our business model already changed. It's no longer traditional way of doing business. You want sea freight, air freight, you look for me, I quote you how much, come, okay, you do it, or something like that. It's more than that now.
Yeah. Nelson, can I ask you, if you did not go through this COVID and MCO situation, would you have thought of this solution that you're going to offer?
Yes, I thought of, but not so extensive. For myself, and I'm thinking, hey, I want to do a warehouse platform. when you come in, I as a property or logistic property, and then your cargo come in. If they say you want temporary storage, and then I can recommend, or maybe I can recommend some location, and then some wood space and then some warehouse that empty, but you don't know the market. They don't know. So you come to the platform, and then I can help you to store your products for maybe for short term, maybe 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year like that. So that is the transformation that I think I want to do it. Yeah, but the COVID-19 come in. So then I still doing, but I also have another. I also need to help the people first for the COVID-19 crisis first.
Understood. Thank you so much for your time, Nelson. And I really appreciate that you take your time from your very busy schedule to come and chat with us, to tell us about what's currently happening, especially with the SMEs and with the transport industry per se. I really, really wish you guys the very, very best. And on behalf of myself, I wish PUMM all the very best and all its members. Kayo, I think that's the only way, and persevere and be strong. I think what you're doing is amazing. It's fantastic. It's positive, even though there's so much challenges. All right. The other thing I wanted to just share as a shout out to all Malaysians is this. If you don't plan for the future, then you have to accept the consequences. But if the consequences don't kill you, you have to take the lessons to make yourself better. And that's a story that I'm hearing from you. So I wish you all the very best. And I look forward to even working together with you on this storage facility that you're talking about, because I think that is truly going to be a new business model whereby you don't have to depend on one country only. Things can move around because the world is getting much smaller.
Yes. Thank you, Ernest. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Nelson. Take care.